Engines ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, start. 1.
This message will be the last you'll ever get from me, or from anyone else up here. We used to call it home. Be something you'll never understand. Our pale blue dot.
What just happened?
Now is the time to act. Make your decision, and make it now.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Hello there.
So, welcome to the first episode of the Game Club today. And as you can see in the title, yeah, it will be interesting for sure. As you just saw in the trailer, we will be talking about Deliver Us the Moon, which will be launching, well, next month, in about 1 month. So yeah, and of course you can get it on Fanatical as well. So yeah, let's talk about the first talking about a point, which is what is the game about? What is the story?
So, for me, I don't really know because I played up until the intro sequence of it, and I didn't really want to play any more because of how much it actually grabbed my attention. Like, I want to be able to just play that game, like just keep going and keep going and keep going. I don't want to be able, like, don't want to have to stop because of how interesting it actually is to me. And I want to be able to actually, like, you know, get all the information that I can because I've seen a few of the inspection stuff in the game, like in the little starting area, and it's like it shows you a little drawing from a child where you get, you know, you're on the moon, like dad's on the moon, mom's in heaven, and then there's like a child on Earth and stuff like that. And I want to just play it to its utmost. Like, I want to give it my everything, all of my attention, rather than having to actually split it aside. But I'm assuming that Kurz, you've played the most of the game.
Yeah, I've played most of the game. I actually finished it completely to the point. And the story so far was really interesting. Like, you start in a completely deserted area and are actually like, what is happening? And you just hear somebody over the radio, oh yeah, Earth is deserted. We need energy from somewhere. How do we do this? And that's basically the first 2 to 3 minutes. Like, everything is destroyed, everything goes bad, basically. And that actually got my interest going. Just as you said, I was completely hooked by it. I couldn't stop it. It was a day where I needed to stream on Fanatical myself. And I went with the whole game, looked at the clock. Oh, God damn it, I need to stop now. I need to stream something else. And the story just grabbed me with how it went. Like, you don't know who you are. You got the mission, go to the moon, see what's happening with the MPT, it is called, the magnetic power transmitter, or microwave power transmitter it was, whatever. And then the whole story builds up. What happened? Why is it offline? How do you get it online? What happens if you get it online? And that's basically all that there is about.
Okay, you see, I actually didn't know that. I didn't know because obviously, as I said, I haven't played that much of the game. So coming to learn that that is predominantly what the storyline is about grabs my interest 10 times more, and it's very irritating for me because I really want to play it. Like right now, I really want to play it, and I can't wait to be able to actually stream it and actually play it in its utmost, and to reveal certain aspects of the game that haven't been seen or haven't been found yet, like maybe hidden Easter eggs or different like possible collectibles and stuff like that. What's your opinion, Burr?
Yeah, it was a great ride, and I binged the game until it was 8 in the morning for me. So, I think that that should tell a lot about it. Are there going to be streamer keys available early? We don't know.
When you were doing the intro,
That's something you would have to
I feel like it's going to be one
talk
of those big
with the
indie
publishers
hits.
about.
Like this is going to be one of those games that may be small, but is going to make a huge impact on the indie gaming industry.
Yeah. So essentially, to get back to what the story is about, essentially, Earth is in a climate crisis and in an energy crisis, and basically the idea they had is that they would produce energy on the moon and send it with microwave technology back to Earth. And well, that worked for a bit, and suddenly the whole sending the energy back to Earth thing stopped. So essentially, basically the officials dumped the project, but some veteran engineers and so on from the project kinda held onto it and worked over the years. And well, you are the astronaut they sent up there to look at the moon and find out what's going on and maybe restore it. So yeah, that's pretty much the basic story of the game.
I mean, honestly, I can't wait to be able to, because everyone has. So when you play the game, you get the story, but everyone has a different, idea on what the story is. Like it plays out differently in everyone's imagination because let's face it, when you're being told a story, you don't only see the graphics, you don't only see the game, you also see an image inside of your head. And for me, it's like so far, as you were saying, Earth is in a climate crisis, but that's as far as I've gotten. So being able to hear your side of things actually reveals a lot more to me and makes it 10 times better in my opinion, because it shows that two different people that have played the game have a very similar opinion on the story and on how the actual fundamentals of the game work. So it shows that it's very straight to the point. It's very there's no beating around the bush like with some games. It'll be like, oh, maybe this is what's going on, or maybe it's this. No, with this game it's like boom, that is what's going on.
Yep.
So yeah, I think we are done about the story pretty much. Let's move to the next topic. What are the graphics like?
Ha!
I mean, we kind of already discussed it, but yeah.
That's probably my favorite topic so far.
Yeah.
Like,
well, what do you have to say about it?
What do I have to say about it? Wow. So with me, I'm very graphics oriented. If a game has a terrible story but beautiful graphics, I'll still play it. If a game has terrible graphics but a beautiful story, I'll still play it. This game has both. This game is amazing. I have a 2070 RTX card, and there were moments where it struggled to just render everything in because there's no real loading screens when you go through doors, so it's trying to render everything at the same time. But my God, the game ran so smooth and so beautifully, it was just uncomparable. I haven't seen a game with graphics this good in a very long time. And yeah, like all I can say is like high commendations to the people that have made this game, especially the graphic designers, because they did an amazing job in my opinion.
They really did. I played it on a 2080 RTX actually, and yeah, I have done a bit of a silly thing with it, but it ran really smoothly the whole time. It set everything to ultra with just instantly, and it looks really good. Like the reflections you have in certain surfaces are really well made. They're not like, oh yeah, you have a basic model of your character in there, for example, but it is really giving you back your character's um yeah, overall stature, for example.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I noticed was the shimmer on the actual
Oh yeah.
visor of the helmet, and when you get into the rocket, when you initially go out of Earth's atmosphere, and you can actually see the the solar system and stuff like
Oh
that
yeah.
as well. Wow, it looks so. We all know about No Man's Sky and how pretty No Man's Sky is, and so on and so forth. This feels on par with that, if not better. And No Man's Sky was a AAA release. This isn't that. And to see this in an indie game just shows how, dedicated the people that have made this are to this game.
Oh yeah. And it will
What?
get a bit better as well, no?
Exactly. What about you, Bear?
Yeah, I was actually really positively surprised by the polish and the graphics and so on. I mean, the graphics are, I mean, my rig is not that awesome, I have to say, but it still looked good with the rig I played it on. And for instance, what I really found awesome is in one of the later maps, you could say, or episodes or whatever, you are on the surface on the moon, and they really did a great job at showing you how big the moon still is, relatively speaking.
Oh yeah.
That just looked awesome.
I mean, obviously, personally, I wouldn't know about that, but from the trailer that you showed at the start, the actual capabilities of it are insane. I mean, what graphics card is it that you have, Bear?
A 1050. So
A 1050?
could
No, but this
yeah.
is the thing: is me and Kez have very powerful cards. You, in let's just go with blatant terms, don't have as powerful of a card. So even still, no matter what kind of system you're running, it's still gonna look beautiful. You're still gonna get the nice graphics that people who have a better system and a better rig are going to get. So it just shows that no matter what you have, you're still gonna have the same experience. I mean, yeah, there's gonna be a few shading detail issues here and there, but it's not going to make that much of a difference because you're still going to get the same experience and you're still going to see the same beautiful imagery that everyone else sees.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay. And next topic is, what do you like about the game?
Yeah, Bear, we did not hear what you just said.
Oh yeah. No, I didn't. I only talked to stream. Next topic is there something you especially liked about the game? Like one single thing?
Nothing.
Okay.
Hated it. No. For me personally, it was okay. So I'm not big into third-person games.
Yeah.
For me, it's mainly first-person shooters, first-person survival, stuff like that. For me, this being an over-the-shoulder game is very foreign. I mean, don't get me wrong, I play Grand Theft Auto 5, Tomb Raider, stuff like that. But with this being as close to the character as it is, I was playing on a console controller. So the visuals when I was moving around the camera were very snappy. But one thing that I personally enjoyed was the fact that no matter what, you could still see, all the detailing of the character itself and all the detailing of everything else itself. So I'm gonna say for me, one thing that I enjoy most about it is gonna be the actual graphical design of the game.
Something I noticed with that, while you were running around, you could see the left arm of your character where his notepad basically was, and whenever something was close by, it started blinking and beeping. That's something you could see in third person, but you couldn't always notice because it was such a small detail.
Exactly, but that's the best thing is it's such a small detail, but it's still there. Like,
Yeah.
how many, like, let's say AAA releases have you seen where you'll get such a minuscule detail?
Not many.
Exactly, because they're always
Seriously, not
focusing
many.
on because they're always focusing on something else. They're always trying to find, the next thing or the next thing. Whereas these guys have put everything they've got into this game, and it really does show.
Yeah,
me,
the details in this game. You first. All good.
Go Bear. Sorry.
Okay. The details in this game, they are really great. I mean, I think it's really a work of love, this game. I think I read somewhere that the developers of this game, they really are into that space stuff, essentially, and you can see it in the game, definitely. Like, I have to say, originally, when I started the game, it's really, before I started playing it, it was pretty much just the day before I saw it the first time, so obviously I didn't know anything about it. And yeah, it's really impressive. And I would say I think the thing I like the most about the game is probably really the love to detail and so on. And it kinda everything, it makes sense. Like, it makes sense as in, I could see that the scenario and the technology and the story and so on very much be happening in reality in the future. That it kind of everything, it could happen like that.
Yeah, there's a sense of reality about it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
With everything that's going on with with climate change and so on and so forth. Not to get political or preachy or anything, but with everything that is going on in regards to climate change and the way that everything's working in that aspect, the actual realistic aspect of the game is this could happen, and if it does happen, this is what it will be like.
Yeah. What will happen if it truly appears to be a thing for the future, for example? But like Bear said, I can see it very much happening in the near future. Like everything they showed in the game, and that's what I really liked about it. The detail. Like what happens with a generator, for example, on the moon? What happens with the humans on moon? Do you need artificial gravity, for example? What would be a human life up there? What do you need? What is happening from Earth? What do you need to get to the moon? What will be sent from the moon back? And all that in such minuscule detail. They actually scattered everywhere some notes where, for example, oh yeah, we need a new cock for the door next to our thing, for example. And they actually made notes for that exact reason for these people. If you look close enough, you find everything you would see in a real life situation.
Exactly. I mean, another thing that I did enjoy was when you launch the rocket and you have to do the initiation sequence and everything else that goes alongside it. You have to flip the switches. You've got to do this, and this. That's also another sense of realism. So I can completely understand where Bear's coming from with this sense of reality. Like, because not every game will give you that. Like, you play all these different games, and there'll be few and far between that actually make you feel like, oh, this could happen, or oh, this is in the process of happening. So I completely agree with your point there, Bear, because man, they really hit the nail on the head topic. Like, most definitely.
Actually, that was quite funny. Basically, in the right at the start of the game, in the dressing room or whatever, you can see that card with the starting sequence. And the first time I saw it was, oh my god, do I have to remember that for later? But thankfully, the same card was in the cockpit, anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the cockpit. It's on the left.
The funny part is you see this exact sequence about 6 times on your way to the rocket.
Yeah.
I
think it's trying to get you to remember it, but then it's like actually they might not remember it. I'm just gonna give it.
I think
great
the
detail.
game actually has an achievement, I think, for fucking that up. The starting sequence.
You're kidding. You're kidding.
I
That
need to
cannot be a
watch.
thing.
To be
Wow.
honest, we are talking about achievements right now, but the
Mhm.
game doesn't have official achievements yet.
Yeah.
We have a beta branch which unlocked some testing stuff, so not that anybody is going like, why do they have achievements or anything?
Yeah.
We got access to a beta branch. We could experience the game in full, for example, as intended for the next release, and achievements are a part of this. So
Yeah.
don't get us wrong when we talk about stuff you might not find at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One thing I will say
essentially,
is
you can
sorry.
find them on Achievement Hunter websites already if you want to. Like it's publicly available information. The achievements, they're just not. You just can't earn them in the non-beta yet, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They're there, but they aren't.
Yeah, sort of.
One thing I will say is for those who enjoy leveling up accounts, because I know a fair few people in my own, my friends list and stuff like that are like level 200, 250, 300, so on and so forth. This game, extremely short. It's about 4 hours in length. But it's immersive, and you do get trading cards from it. And that's one thing that I quite like, is it's a small game, and you can get trading cards, which help level up your account, so you can show off other stuff and blah, 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 blah. But there are people that do that on a very serious level, like we take streaming. They take the account leveling as serious as we do this. So I think it's, for it being released as it is, it's very nice to actually see that they've put that in, and the controller support as well. That's another thing that I really like, is it's got full controller support, and I did not find one issue at all.
I just played it with keyboard and mouse, even though the 0G parts were kind of hard with keyboard and mouse, let's say it
Yes.
that way. But it worked out. But with a controller, it was definitely easier.
And there was also another point I wanted to talk about, and in the story-wise, that there kind of is a villain, but in a way, I can kind of see his point.
No spoilers! No spoilers!
Essentially, what is happening is, and well, this is of course spoiler territory. The reason that the whole sending the energy to Earth thing kind of stopped out of a sudden was that I am not exactly sure, because I don't remember exactly, but one of the people responsible kind of had a plan to, well, ditch Earth and fly towards the stars, more or less, because they and many others had the opinion that, well, Earth is lost anyways, and
Earth is screwed, find a new place.
yeah, and I honestly, from the perspective of the people on Earth, it's kind of a dick move, but I can also in some way see the point.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just a clear black and white thing, as far as I am concerned.
That is true. I agree on that one. Because I've completely finished it, and it is actually a non-clear black and white thing. So you will see what they try to achieve.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the story is great, well written and so on. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Is there something you didn't like about the game?
To be honest,
Okay.
I was actually enjoying it so much because the story was so gripping. I didn't really spend any energy on finding things I didn't like, because I just wanted to go further and further and further and further.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes it wasn't so clear what you had to do. That's the only thing I would say was a kind of bad thing, but that's it. Anything else was really well made. It played really well, and the story was also really great.
Yeah,
No,
I would agree with
completely
that.
One thing that I
There's-
didn't like
Yep.
was the snappiness of the camera on the controller, that is. So even if I was to move it the slightest, it would move it, but it would snap into position.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good that it does snap, but at the same time, there's a way that you can do it and not have it be, hurtful to the eyes, if you understand what I mean, like a softer
Yeah.
form of it.
Yeah.
But from when I played, from as little as I played as well, that was the only. Like I love the fact that it's such a puzzle to actually get through the game, and like you have to actually think instead of mindlessly running through, the same thing, just revamped or remapped. It actually you have to put some actual effort into it rather than just doing the same thing over and over.
I think there was only one thing, and I would not even say dislike. It's more like a mild annoyance. Essentially, later down the story, you get to drive a moon vehicle, and essentially you have to park it in with
Oh,
on
God.
6 points, and you have to do that multiple times. That was super annoying.
Oh no!
yeah,
What?
like you
That
have
sounds like it'd
to
be
have
interesting.
all 6 pressure plates weighted down,
Yeah.
so it unlocks the door. And it is actually that sensitive. If you just have your front wheels about 15 degrees to the left, for example, it doesn't register as pressed down.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that was
Okay, that
Yeah, I didn't
that
remember
can
this
be
until now.
Kind of annoying.
Oh, that was a really bad part here.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
that's
that
one
sounds like
thing
it
that
will
I
most
didn't
definitely be
like.
interesting.
But yeah, that's pretty much the only thing
Yeah.
it was annoying.
What's the next topic, Bear?
Okay, does it remind you of any other games?
Oh yeah, totally. Soma.
Instantly, I know one game, and I've already said which game it is.
The first time I started it up, the thing I had in mind was instantly, hey, I'm playing a bit of Soma again, basically.
Oh wow!
Because you're alone, you don't know what happened. Sure, you have somebody talking to you, but that quickly changes as well. Just like in Soma, for example. And then you just go through it, search for everything, look basically behind you whenever something could appear,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. And you have this feeling of there might be something off. I don't know
Yeah.
what's happening, what is going on. And with your advance in the story, you actually know more and more about that stuff. So it really reminded me of Soma at this point.
Yeah, same here. And I didn't even play Soma. I just watched it on streams and so on. And yeah,
Oh, I
I
played
was
it.
just waiting and waiting for some supernatural thing like an alien invasion or something. I just waited for
Yeah.
that.
It was like, oh yeah, there needs to be a giant Cthulhu-like tentacle monster
Yeah,
coming
exactly.
right through.
So, one thing that someone has asked, the Lorian Tucker, are there any threats in the game? Because I personally couldn't find any. There was nothing, that was going to attack me, nothing like that. But as you were saying, it felt like it felt like there was going to be something.
There is a
Essen-
single thing or a single part where there actually are threats that can kill you, but it is only a single part of the whole game. About 10 to 40 minutes, depending on how long you take. I took 40
Mhm.
minutes for that part, but that's the only thing so far.
Yeah, and otherwise, I mean, there are the complete loss of oxygen is otherwise a threat,
Oh
of
yeah,
course.
oxygen. That's true. I didn't die to oxygen depletion, thankfully. But there is the possibility, if you're out in space, you have 3 minutes of oxygen, sometimes even less, because something happened to you, for example, and your tank got nicked or something.
Oh,
You
so
have
your
20
tank,
seconds.
Your tank can leak.
It's a story-based thing, so
So
it
it's
won't
sort of
leak every time, but it happens story-wise. So you have about
right.
10
Okay.
seconds to get to the next oxygen bottle. If you don't get to it, well, was nice knowing
Well,
you.
that's you finished.
But those are the only threats so far.
I mean, even still, that's still pretty nice. At least next time I play it, I'll be a little bit less on edge that something's going to attack me.
Well,
But
maybe
for
there
me,
actually is an alien invasion and we are just bullshitting you. No.
That might also be the
No.
the thing.
don't do this, guys. Don't do this.
No.
But no, for me, the game reminded me of No Man's Sky. It really reminded me of No Man's Sky, like the character build and the way that the dynamic. I put a creature in just for me. Wow, that's kind of mean. Like the character build and the way that the actual atmosphere is designed, it reminds me of a good share of planets that I've explored on No Man's Sky. But I think that at the same time, they're so completely different from each other that I could never compare them. I can say they look similar, but I can't say that they play similar or the aspects are the same. I can only just say that visually, to me, they're the same, or well, similar.
But yeah, I mean, even if I can definitely see the similarities to Soma. I mean, there are some things that are similar, like that you are alone and so on. So yeah, that's probably why both Kersa and I were instantly reminded of that game.
Yeah.
Okay, the next topic is... Do you have anything
What
to
is
say
the next
about
topic?
anything that players should bear in mind?
You're never alone.
That is actually truer than you think.
Well, yeah, you aren't. You're never alone because character and then there's you. There's two people
Yeah.
there. It's a couple.
Uh, um, you have to bear in mind this game tries to be more accurate and scientific accurate than other games, so don't expect your character jumping about 50 meters high on the moon. It can happen, but your character is a professional astronaut and knows don't jump too hard. So he will just jump about the height that is safe to jump, not to float into space away.
But yeah, as we said before, the game is rooted in reality. So yeah, if you want
Yeah, there's realism
yep,
constantly there.
that's pretty much something you should bear in mind. So
I mean, one thing I will say as well is that most things in the game are important, whether it be to a puzzle or whether it be to the lore of the game. It actually is important. Like you have to, like, for me it was, I'd run past something and I'd gone, like, I've gone further down to the launch sequence of the rocket, and then snap, I've completely forgotten how to do this one puzzle because I'm not thinking, because I've disregarded an aspect of the game that I didn't see as important, which ended up having to be the actual way that I solved the puzzle. So what I would say is just keep in mind that everything may be important, but there are a lot of things, and you can see what is and what isn't, but a lot of things aren't important.
Yeah. And some things that are important aren't always visible at the first moment.
Yeah.
Like
Most-
you have
most
a note
definitely.
saying, "Hey, power is out. Use this door code to open the door," for example. But other times you don't have a note. You have to see, what can I do to open this door, and maybe peek through a window. Not that it will happen or anything. Peek through a window around the corner. Oh, there is the code, for example, on the wall. Something like this can happen in the game.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I've just looked at my camera on stream, and it was very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, for me, it's just an all-around enjoyable game. Like, yeah, I haven't found a game like this in an extremely long time, and I play a lot of games. I have a very wide variety and a very eclectic taste in games. So actually finding one that can hold my attention as well as this can, it's phenomenal. Like, this is a game I would highly recommend to everyone, whether you be 10 years old or 70. Play this game.
But yeah, I think one thing people should bear in mind is that if they want to play it in one sitting, which is absolutely possible, I mean, I took around, I don't know, 4 hours.
Same.
Take the time if you
4
want
hours
to,
for the whole game.
but of course you don't have to, because it's divided into episodes or maps or whatever you want to call it. Okay, next topic is, as a player, anything that you would like to know about it before buying or playing.
Personally, what I would say is always consider the length, to your personal capabilities of the game. Because let's say it goes on sale and it's £10, maybe €15, like $15 or something like that. It's not that expensive of a game, but at the same time, you may only play it once and then that's it. So what I would say is, think before you purchase it, but also really do consider purchasing it, because this is a story that you'll never, a never told before story, in my opinion at least. Because I've never found a game with a story like this, or with aspects of it being like this. So in regards to the question of Lorian, does it have replayability? You two are gonna have to answer that, because I have no idea.
It has replayability to some degree, I would say, because if you find everything on your first run, you're a freaking monster. Every secret, every hidden thing. I missed about 8 on my first run, and there are about 60, 70 things you can find. But even if you found everything, replaying it with the knowledge you have is like, oh, so that's why they did that. And that's why this place looks like this and stuff like that. So it is another experience in itself, knowing what happened, what will happen, and stuff like that, and just revisiting those locations, basically.
Yeah, that's a good point. Essentially they put details into earlier episodes that you can only really acknowledge if you played the game in its completeness. So yeah, there is some replayability, I would say.
I'm gonna assume from what you guys are saying that it's not really replayability, it's more huntability. Like, you will complete the game and then thereafter you won't really be focusing on the story, but more, the collectibles or, the scannables.
On the scannables
Okay.
and everything.
Okay.
That's a better way to say it, but it is kind of replayability as well, because you know stuff suddenly and you want to know, why did they do this?
Right. So you mean like stuff that you learn in the start that, you then figure out later in the game, you want to go back to make sure it's fresh in your memory.
Yeah.
Okay. Not bad. Not bad.
Okay.
So it's a bit quiet.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go. Let's essentially do an open Q&A, I would say. But yeah, keep in mind.
We are doing this for the first time, so we need to figure out in what
We're
order
learning.
we will do things.
We're learning. Be nice to us.
But yeah, feel free to ask questions now in chat. And we'll try our best to answer. But of course, please also keep in mind, we can't talk about everything. There is some stuff that we can't talk about.
We can talk up to chapter 5 and the end of chapter 5. But the 6th chapter, which will be added with the re-release, we can't say anything story-wise about it. That's it.
Pretty much.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is for both of you. And it's not. I don't know what you're laughing for. Which was your favorite chapter and why?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. Joker coming in with the good stuff today, huh?
I would probably say chapter 5, actually. With the whole railway stuff and so on. That was quite fun to figure out and so on.
For me, 5 and 6 are actually on par for me.
Okay, so obviously we can't talk about the reasons as to why we're under an NDA of 6. But are there any key points that you feel like we can speak about, like the graphics of it? Does anything change, or does that still take your attention? The story, does it continue being as enticing as it is, or does it get even more so?
So, in that regard, chapter 5, it actually increases a bit the graphics quality. I've noticed it a bit on the later chapters. And overall, chapter 5 is just the whole why this stuff happened, how it happened, who was involved, what is happening, why suddenly everything ceased to exist basically on the moon, and all this stuff. So chapter 5 is the overall hate of the story, basically, where you know everything, where you just anticipate what will happen next.
Interesting indeed. I mean, for me, it's got to be the first chapter, because that's the only chapter I've played. It's a very good chapter.
No, it's a good chapter. I agree.
No, it is. It is. It's a very nice intro chapter. I will say that it's very similar to Skyrim, in my opinion, when it comes to the intro chapter, in the sense that it takes your attention and it can hold your attention as much as a AAA release can.
Yeah. All right. Anybody from the chat has any questions so far?
Anyone? Come on, speak to us. We're lonely.
Talk for yourself.
Oh, okay. Okay then, Bear. God. Just because you two are next to each other in Europe. Jeez.
Not really.
Well,
I'm on the other end.
You have already answered my questions. Fair enough.
Anyone else? Anyone, please?
But yeah, I would definitely say that the game is worth it. I mean, as we said before, definitely. It's not a super long game, but I mean,
it's a super fun game.
Yeah, you have a couple hours of cinematic experience, pretty much, as far as I am concerned.
Yeah. It's like a movie. It's like a playable movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, in some way. Yeah.
I would definitely put it into the style of Heavy Rain, for example, where you just decide basically what happens. But this game has a fully story which is laid out, and you just need to play it. That's it.
Mm,
But it's still like a movie, really.
yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you have some puzzles, but I wouldn't say that any of them were particularly hard or anything. Like,
Yeah, they're not like as tough as Haven Moon is. Like Haven Moon is a very, very difficult puzzle game. Whereas this is, it's more like, oh, you know, maybe you forgot about this thing that was at this place. It kind of holds your hand a little, in my opinion. Like that from my experience, that's what it does.
yeah. That's a good way to say it.
You know. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Agreeing with me.
Finally, somebody.
Finally, someone agrees. Oh my god.
I mean, next topic is probably we can take a look at the reviews of the game, because essentially the game was released in a previous state about 1 year ago, and the release in October is essentially kind of the last chapter and some graphics upgrades and so on. So of course,
more
if you already
next
have the
chapter
game,
than
you don't have to
last.
buy it again.
I mean, personally, I would say it's more next chapter rather than last, because we don't know if it is going to be the last. There could always be, a continuation of the story. But
Yeah,
then
maybe
again,
they do a
you
sequel or
guys
something.
have
Like a second game showing what happens on Earth, for example.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's kind of a good point, yeah. I mean, sort of,
I would up be for that.
they kind of created this world in a way, even if it could happen to us in reality. And I mean, it's an interesting scenario for sure. So I could see myself playing other games in that world, or how the world is in the game and so on. Might be interesting, yeah.
Oh. So, one game that I this is going back to what it reminds me of. Firewatch.
Oh, yeah.
A playable movie. That's how much, like, it reminds me of that. Like, they're both, to me, playable movies. Like, they just immerse you instantly and just hold you and just keep you there.
But yeah, I mean, as I said before, the game was already released about a year ago, so we can take a look at the reviews, and they are very positive, as you can see right now.
So, from when I was looking at the reviews before we actually came onto the most helpful review is one that isn't recommended.
Really?
Yes, that is the most helpful review. And personally, I don't agree with it. I've read it and I don't agree with it. It basically, the overall gist of it is that it reminds you of Soma. It's only like 3-4 hours long. You're just wandering around. There's no one really to attack you. Well, I'm sorry, but this isn't that type of game. The guy's continuing to point out that the recommended price tag is 30 AUD. So 30 Australian dollars is roughly the equivalent of around £15. So the actual figure that I mentioned before. I personally don't see a problem with that. Look at the price of Firewatch. Look at the price of some other indie games. I know some indie games that cost like maybe 50-60 euros, and they're not even as good as this. So with him complaining about the price tag, I don't see what the problem is. Like, you get a very immersive story, you get some very beautiful graphics. It irritates me that he's just talking about price when, we don't even, like, the price isn't even been released yet for the re-release.
I mean, the guy's main point of negativity was essentially the time it took him to complete the game. And
Yeah.
I think the problem is it's only one metric. And the problem is kinda time you need to complete the game is kinda an easy thing to talk about because you can measure it easily. I mean, it's past time. You can see it on Steam. You know how long you took to complete the game. But the problem is there's so much it doesn't take into consideration because I mean I'm sure there are other games out there where I can spend, I don't know, 200 hours and do nothing but grind and grind and grind and grind and do the same thing over and over again. So by that logic, that game must be awesome because I spent 200 hours in it. So
one thing I will say is looking
exactly
at,
exactly what Laurie and Tucker in the chat just said. You can. There are plenty of games we bought for full price,
point.
and then we didn't even spend an hour in it. So
exactly. What I will say is, okay, so South Park, I think it's the Stick of Truth or something. It's the second release that they made. I bought that when it was fresh release. That is a AAA release game. I paid £50 for it. I didn't get any DLCs. I didn't get any special packages. Nothing. I just got the base game. I completed that game in 16 hours. Imagine how irritated I was to play a game like that for 16 hours and then, complete it with no real storytelling about it, with the main key points just being toilet humor and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, that's what they're made for. But 16 hours? No. This game may only take 4 or 5, but I would happily pay the money that I spent on that for this. Because I personally feel like it's worth it. It like you go to the movie theater, you pay maybe €10 a ticket. That's an hour and a half. You pay that 3 times, there's €30. That's what you're getting from this game.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, everyone has to decide for themselves if the money they spent was worth it, of course. But I would say in this case, it is worth it because it was a great experience for me. And as I said at the start of the talk, I binged it in one sitting because it was just so exciting for me. And I just wanted to see how it continues and so on and so on. I mean, there were times where I said, oh, damn, it's 6 in the morning. Maybe I should stop for now. But I had to see the end and so on. So, yeah.
I mean, from looking at the reviews, and I'm only looking at negatives only to just kind of just get a gist of what the actual, main feed of negativity is around the game. It's the time. That's all it is people complaining about the time. And the fact that, they've paid $20 for it, and it's like a walking simulator with light puzzles. The game was not fully released. What did they expect? Don't get me wrong, yeah, it may be short, but it's sweet. As they say, it's not about the length, it's about how you use it.
I was about to make the joke, but whatever.
And I'm pretty sure that all 3 of us as men can agree upon it's not about the length, it's about how you use it. I mean, I didn't put into any context as to what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the game here. I'm just talking about the game. You guys take that as whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'm just an innocent little streamer. I'm just doing my job. Okay.
Emphasis on little.
Oh, okay. So now we're going into the insults. Okay.
Hey, you started
I
it.
see how it is. I didn't start it. I was just fuck you, Bear, you fucking asshole.
Burn.
Oh man. Jeez. Oh.
57-year-old grandmother loves this
Lorian's a
stuff.
57-year-old grandma. She loves this stuff. That's always nice to know. But no, you. Oh my god, Bear! You took that in a context that was completely just. Oh my god.
So,
Bear behave.
Yeah, okay, sure. If you insist. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, I would say. I don't have anything else to say about the game. I think we talked about it. We discussed it, and yeah.
Personally, I feel like we've covered all the topics that there is to cover in this game. And we've covered it in a very unbiased way. Like, I, having only played it a small amount of time, still have formed my own opinions of it, and you guys, having completed it, still have formed your own opinions. One thing I will say is it sucks that there isn't a co-op.
Yeah, fair enough.
I would love to play this game in co-op. If they made, let's say harder puzzles that require two people, I feel like that would be a lot more fun. Because I feel like this would be an amazing game to play with someone else.
Yeah, I would say I would give the game 5.5 out of 6 moon vehicle pressure plates.
I would give it, 5 out of 6 switches to turn on in the cockpit. So,
okay, fair enough.
It's also great. Oh, you two. Now I have to find something.
Yeah, we took both of them. Is there co-op or multiplayer in the future? We don't know. That's something that we personally can't say. The price, we don't know. We know
the price. It's already, you can pre-order it on Fanatical and so on.
Yeah.
I didn't know the pre-order was out. Okay. So the pre-order is out for.
What's happening with your cam?
You know what? My camera's just. Oh god, yeah. The camera's being funky again, Bear. Can you fix it?
What the hell?
I just wait.
Why is it only me? Why is it only me that looks like the asshole?
That was Twitch.
So mean. Always me. But the price is it's £18 or £20 when it's not on offer, which is around it's something that I personally would feel comfortable spending on it.
It should be 23, 24 euros.
Later on.
Around that part.
Yeah, which is going to be translated to roughly the same in dollars, I assume.
Yeah.
If there's any people from Australia that are watching in AUD, that's going to be around, I think, around 35, 40 AUD.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah,
22.49 US. Yeah, exactly. That's not too bad. Go on.
As we said before, if you already own the game on Steam, you already have it. You don't have to buy it again.
You won't have to pay again.
Yeah, because it will just be a patch, I would guess, and yeah, that's it done.
It will give you access to the full game later on if you already bought it. That's how we got it. For example, we just entered the beta branch, and it is the same game basically. So whoever bought this game before and is looking forward to the 6th chapter, for example, you will gain access to it. You will also gain any upgrades that come with it. For example, the game is gonna have RTX support as well, meaning if you have a 20-something card, you will have the ability to enable RTX on it, meaning the lighting and the reflection will be a bit better than normally. We didn't have access to it yet because it was the least or the last thing they wanted to add because they had other priorities, which is great. Yeah, they wanted to have the game running. They wanted to have it finish perfectly, basically. and graphics upgrades are the last part they wanted to do.
Yeah. And you can't really fault them for that. Like, focusing on other stuff rather than graphics when, in my opinion, they've already made it as good as they can. Like, if they get any better, you might as well just be playing real life.
Yeah.
They might as well just, if they focus on the graphics anymore, they might as well actually make a movie and then just put interactive cutscenes in there.
Something I also forgot to mention is I actually didn't have any issues with any bugs or anything, so it's already pretty polished.
I found a bug.
Okay.
Oh, you found a bug.
And Bear's camera is now acting up. Now it's good.
Okay.
Or rather, not bug. I actually managed to squish myself between a ladder and the ceiling. I couldn't get out of it.
Okay.
And how did you fix it?
I had to reload.
Oh.
I seriously had to reload. Because I was just, what happens if I go up this movable staircase? I went up and I actually hit a thing in the ceiling where it was about half my head height. And because I was running, my character was ducked a little bit. And he could just slide in. I was like, that is great that I can do this. And how do I get out of? Oh crap! I tried everything. I couldn't do it. So, great advice: don't go onto those movable ladders or staircases if you have a ceiling above your head.
Do it when you're out in the open. It might help.
Yeah.
When you've got head clearance.
More than 1.60 meters or something.
No, honestly, I can't wait for it to be released, because when it's fully released is when I'm going to stream it.
I will be streaming it as well at that point.
I'll stream it longer than you will.
But that's just to see how it will go.
But yeah, it's been great, and to everyone in chat, of course, thanks for watching.
Thank you very much for tuning in to the first Game Club.
Yeah, the European edition. Essentially, what we're doing is we have 2 game clubs. We have an United States edition as well, which will stream in about 2 weeks, Sunday at 17.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks, yeah.
British time, with the same game. And the European edition will be back in about a month. Currently, the plan is to do it once per month, with a different game each time. And yeah, we don't know what game we will be having on the next time, but yeah, we will see. So
stay
thanks
tuned.
for watching. And yeah, stay tuned.
Stay tuned, and thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, and of course,
guys,
forgive us a bit. This was the first time, so we will definitely have some stuff to improve and so on. But yeah, we will get there in time.
Always.
So, I would say we are just rating someone from the stream team then, because
I thought you said castrating. I was very confused for a second.
No, yeah, I misspoke a bit. Let's rate Boss Joe, who is doing Dragon Quest right now.
Should we do a
thanks for watching.
plug?
Of course, if you want to take a look at the channel of each of the 3 of us, you can find the links down below in one of the panels. So, Kerza, Joker, and me, Imber, and yeah. As I said before,
I'm finally in the panel. Yay!
Yay!
Finally, I made it! I'm famous!
We are rating Boss Joe, who is one of the stream team members, and he's playing Dragon Quest 11 right now. But yeah, thanks for watching, and see you guys.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.